Alright guys, let's start today's class. So today we will have another celebration, right? Start from 11 to 1. So let's prepare for that. Today we're going to talk about the SQL database. Right, so it's not part of the assignment. So if you are following with me to do that, make sure you keep a copy of your old assignment. Otherwise, we may break it. Right? It's not part of the assignment. You don't have to rechange. You don't have to change the MongoDB into SQL, but it's just another alternative choice to use to store your data. Right? And the reason I want to add in this part is because SQL is still the most popular database in the industry right now. So it's always good to have some experience with it. And yeah, it's not really hard to learn, but just a lot of content to cover. So we'll just go over the basic part. And if you're interested in to know more about the SQL database, in my video channel, I actually linked a playlist from my college professor talk about the database, which has let me see, my channel. I also put a link into Slack. So you just see the playlist here. Oh, it's have a lot. Which one is that? Is that still in here? Maybe not in here. Where was that again? Yeah, I check it about it. I check about it. It has about 50 videos inside it. Like it just talk about every details you need to know about the SQL database. Right. So yeah, let's start with some basic stuff. As we said, when we use MongoDB, we just store the JSON object in the database, which is document based. We don't parse the data into any other format. We actually store the data, store the documents inside the table. Sorry, not table, just in database. Right. And in the SQL database, which is called the relational database, we store things in table, column, and rows. Right. For example, for the users collection we had in the MongoDB, if we want to store that into the database, so it will be a table format. Right, a table format, and not enough space. But literally, it's going to have different columns. For example, the ID and the username, right, and password, and keep going like first name, last name, and the email. It's going to be a table, right? And each data will be stored like the first user has ID 1, username is Alice, password is Alice, first name is capitalized Alice, last name Wonder, and her email. Right. So the second one will be have the ID 2 and Bob, and keep going. And the third one with Charlie. Right. So this is how data stored in the SQL database, right? And inside here, you can see we have a ID. This is called a primary key. It's just like an identity, right? So which is going to be unique. Each user are going to have a unique primary key, which is just we use to identify which user it is. And for each data here, you can like in the MongoDB, you can in this case we're going to have schema in the database. So we're gonna define what will be for each field. For example, username, it has to be a string, and then we can limit the length of it. Like we can say each username can only be like a 10 characters or 25 characters or 100 characters. Right? We can limit like the length of the username. And same thing like password, that is string. First name is string, and last name is string. Right? In this case, they are just all string. And we can also store like a store date or store the integers inside it. We can define the schema in the database. Before that, we still have schema, but schema is in the JavaScript file, which is in we call that application level. We define the schema in the application. So each application can have different schema. Right? We can have like if you are working in a company, you may have multiple projects connected to the same database. Right? So think about like you have one application which is you're using for the payment. You connect to our user database to getting user information. You may have another application. You have one more tons of the applications connected to the same database. They all can have the different schema, but if you're using the same database, they have to share the same schema because the database has its own schema inside it. Right, the SQL. Right, so that's my user table. Right, this table may be called the users. A users table. This pen just doesn't work anymore. Just want to throw that away. Users. That's our users table. Another. And let's look at another one. Right, we can also have a websites table. Right, so websites table. Websites table, again, it has its own ID, right? It has a name. It has a text, title, right? If I don't remember wrong. And it has a developer ID. Right, so that is my website. Again, examples can be, right, so make it longer. Example can be the website ID 1. Name is website, we call it the M symbol website, M symbol. And title, we just call it the M symbol. Actually, it should be description, not title. Yeah, it should be description. The title is for the page. I'm just going to describe. And the developer ID refers to this is Charlie's website. Developer ID is 3. Right, I can keep going. Right, it's a table. So the second row. So it's going to be ID 2. Albany website, William. The description is just William. And developer ID belongs to Alice. So the ID is 1 here. That's another table. So you can see some features here, like each document is a row, right? So that's the first user, second user. Each row represents an instance of data. And here, it's like the first row here represents one website. The second row represents the second website. So that's one feature of SQL. And another thing is each column refers to a field. We call that field. Right, we call it field. Represents a field of this data. Right. It can be username, password, first name, last name. Right. And the reason we call it a relational database because each table are connected to each other with such a kind of like a relationship between each other. For example, in this case, the developer ID is connected to with that. And the relationship we call here is called one-to-many. One to many. What does that mean? One user can have multiple websites. For example, these two websites can belong to the same user. Right? If these two websites belong to the same user, that's one user to many websites. That's the relationship here called one to many. As also I have many to one, right? Many websites belong to one user. You can see that in the reverse way. Many to one to many. We also have many to many. One example for many to many can be think about in a university. We want to create a university system. We have courses and students, right? So one student can take multiple courses. One courses can have multiple students. That's many to many relationship. Right. So we're not going to go too deep into that. Right. So we're just going to using our assignment as example. So if you think about the webmaker, and it's a lot of one-to-many example or one-to-many relationships inside there. One user has many websites. One website has many pages, and one page has many widgets. It's like all of them just a one-to-many relationship, right? So that's also a biggest difference between the NoSQL and SQL, which is one is relational database, another is a non-relational database. So if I'm building a system, all the data have close connection between each other, we choose SQL. If there's too many different kinds of data connecting to each other, NoSQL is maybe a better choice. It's easier to build, and you don't have to maintain too many relationships inside it. Right. most of the cases, SQL is going to be a choice for the companies because NoSQL is it just come in 20 something, and it was very young. NoSQL has been there for many decades, so companies definitely prefer the ones because data is very important. So the company definitely prefer the ones that are more trustable, right? So just inside this table here, the developer ID is called foreign key. Foreign key, or just foreign, I forgot how to spell it. It's just a foreign key, right? So it refers, that means like something, this key refers to another table's primary key. Right? So this is, one here refers to the user one, right? So one user here refers to user one, can refer to user two, this we call it a foreign key, right? Foreign key. Something like that. Right, and another thing is primary key doesn't have to be an ID. In this case, any unique value here can be as a primary key, right? We can use ID to identify the user. How about we can also use username as a primary key? That is unique for each user, right? So in this case, maybe I don't even need the ID, right? That's something that the user doesn't really know the ID. We can use the username as the primary key, right? And of course, like we cannot use developer ID here to connect to it. But instead of using developer ID, I can just change that into developer. And inside here, I'm just gonna, this one going just to be Alice, and this one going to be Bob. Right? It's still foreign key and connect to the user name instead of user ID. That also works. Right? Sometimes you may also see the primary key contains more than one field. Like you use both username and password as a primary key, as long as that's unique, it works. Just a way we can identify this user. The primary key is just something unique. And when we have like a more than one field as a primary key, we have special name for it. It's a competitive key or something like that. I've forgotten the formal terms for that. Let's see, SQL primary key. Composite key for that, right? Just means more than one field as a primary key, composite key for that, right? When there is a more than one field as primary key, right? So that's literally the basic stuff for the SQL database, and as you can see, it's the definition behind it is not very so hard. The hardest part is like when you design a SQL database, how are you going to organize your table? Right, there are like a lot of things to considering, like what field to store. Because when you create a table, you have to give the schema. That means that thing won't be able to easily change in the future. So you have to carefully design the stuff. So this is why if your company going to use a SQL database, they're going to hire a database manager, or we call it database administrator, to fully focus on the database part, to design the system, and he maybe also manage a lot of like a database developer who's writing who's like writing the code for the database, things like that. Right. So let's create these tables in our computer and see if we can make it work. And there are some computers in this room I haven't installed a SQL database yet, including that one, the computer you're using is not installed SQL yet, and this one here. Right, so there are still 5 computers that are not installed SQL, and this one here, and the one there. We only have 5 computers and one to install it because you guys come here every day. Thank you for that. So I don't have time to install that yet. So if you want to try with me, you can change to another computer. Right, we'll just try it out. Right, so yes. So yeah. The third one on the first row, and the third one in the second row, the third one in the third row, and the last one in this row, and this one as well. There's only five computers. I don't have SQL installed. So if you want to try with me, change another computer to try it out. Sure thing. Yeah. Take your time. We're gonna start like in 15 minutes later. 15 minutes later. 15.
Is it separate from the web maker?
It's again. Well, what we're gonna do is it's not a part of the assignment.
Okay.
We're just going to try to connect to the it with WebMaker, yes, but that's not part of that's not going to be part of the assignment. Just to try it out.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
In MongoDB, Mongo generates an ID automatically.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question was going to be, does SQL generate the primary ID? But I guess not. We have to generate it, right?
So when you create a SQL table, you can decide to ask it to generate it for you, or you can create it by yourself. It's optional. Same thing like Mongo. I think on Mongo you can also make it optional.
Oh.
Yeah, like you can see, I want to make the ID auto increment. So like every time when you do not give the ID, when you use data without the ID, it's gonna create one for you. For example, you're gonna check in the last ID for this one, like the last ID was 1, the second data will be 2, third one will be 3, fourth one will be 4. So you can even give the rule for that, like what's gonna be the next ID. And you also when you insert data, you can also insert the data you want it to be. And you can insert into it. Sorry, an ID you can insert into it.
And also, so SQL is a relational database, and
Yes.
NoSQL is non-relational.
Yes.
And then, so MongoDB is a form of non-relational. Are there, I know like Postgres is a form of.
Postgres is SQL.
Is okay.
Yeah. So NoSQL stands for not owning SQL. So if any database is not using the SQL language, that is a NoSQL database. There's many examples. MongoDB is one of the most popular one, and another one is called Redis, and that is also a famous NoSQL database. Or most companies use that not as a database, use that as a cache system. So yeah, it's a little bit hard to explain. So because like if every time we use a count to visit the website, we're getting data from database, it's gonna be a little bit slow. If there are too many requests, too many query at the same time, it's gonna be a little slow. So they're actually using the two databases, like this MySQL or Progress to store their initial data, of everything, and on top of that, they have a cache system to temporarily store part of data, like most common data there. So if the user keep asking for those common data, we can just get it from the Redis or from the MongoDB instead of keep asking from the SQL. Yeah, it's also a design. So yeah, there's some more advanced design things there. But yes, there's more than one kind of SQL database and more than one kind of NoSQL database. They all share the similarities, but the big difference is if there is a relationship inside it or not.
I saw that there was one called Cassandra.
Yeah, that is also one of them. There's a lot of them. The ones I used before is just MongoDB. I learned with this, but haven't tried that in any big project yet. And then MySQL, ProgressSQL, that all works similar. And then another one is Microsoft also has a SQL server. Right. SQL database, because SQL database, all SQL database shares the same language, the SQL language, right? So it's always going to be very, very similar. Yeah, if you just load one, the other one will be no big difference. Maybe some key features, right? Like for example, the Progress SQL provides something called the join, like join two tables together.
Yeah.
Progress SQL provides a cross join. You can auto join left and right table, auto join, and MySQL doesn't provide it. You have to use union to do that. So with a different command, different keywords, but basically the functionality to be the most same thing. All right, we're gonna start at 9:35, right? To organize. So if you're in the Colonial folder, you need to npm I to install the libraries. Go ahead and do that. All right, we're gonna start with just the SQL itself to learn the command, learn the language itself. Because if you're using MongoDB, the language is just very similar to JavaScript. If you're using SQL, you need to using the language also called SQL. So we're going to using another language. So we're going to take some time to get into that to see how we can how to use that language to send a request to the database first. Right. So we're going to work on the database itself, and then we'll connect it to our application.
What's the name of the Git bash? Like our application's name?
Git. Yeah. I think it's already installed.
It doesn't show me.
Huh.
Application
than using that. But
I need to clone.
yeah, I think you can. When you clone, you can also use this shift ticket. You can also use. I think it's installed. It's not somehow not functional. Like I need to reinstall that. You can using the PowerShell to do that. It's the same thing. Yeah, it is still working. You still have to here. It's same. Yeah, I'll fix that soon. Yeah, we're not gonna use the git bash today. We need to git clone and parse paste the URL. Let's start on 935. All right, so we're gonna start it. So firstly, we can talk about how to download it. If you are gonna using your own computer in the future, we're gonna talk about how to download the SQL. We're gonna using the MySQL, right? So which is which is free. So we're gonna use that. So we're gonna search for MySQL. Right, in the Google, and we're gonna click on the MySQL community download. The community version is free. Right, so if you're using your own computer, you can download it from here. Right. So if you're using the computer in the lab, or already installed it, right, so you can choosing the version for you. If you're using the Windows, you can just download the MySQL installer for Windows, which is very easy to use. And if you're using some others like a Mac or something else, I'm not quite sure which one to install. I think you need to install them one by one. Yeah, you will need the community server, you need the shell, you need the workbench, right? Those are three things we're definitely going to need. Right, if you're using installer, it's just going to be install all the things at once. Right, so that's just for it.
Is it installed? Do we have to install?
No, don't have to. You don't have to if you're using the lab computer. Right, you don't have to. Just let you know if you want to install that in the future.
You said the community server with the shell and the workbench that we use?
Yes, if you install by yourself, well, you will need the community server, you need the shell, you need the workbench. Right, we need bench. Right, so since we already installed this by ourselves, in the lab computer, so we don't need to install it again. But if you're getting some trouble when you install the things, just let me know. I'll help you with that. Right. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open in the command window, right? The command prompt. Right, just click on the Windows here, search for command, and the first one here, right? The command prompt. Open that. Just opening a terminal, we can give the commands. I'll try to make it large so you can see it. All right. So firstly, like we do the Mongo, right? Inside here, we're going to do the MySQL, right, to get into the system. And because we did have the username and the password here, so when we do the MySQL, we need to also provide the username and the password. So it's going to be MySQL-U stands for username, and the username for your computer is going to be root, and -p stands for password. And hit enter. It's going to ask you to enter your password. The password for your computer should be student, just student. Yeah, student. Now, oops, I think. Oh, I just stopped it. So you shouldn't get in 0. Let me just restart it here. Start. Yeah, I closed it. You don't need to do that. Just do the MySQL-u root -p and enter the password. Right, which is going to be student. And now you can see the I don't know how to say it. It's just the string in the front says MySQL, means you're in the MySQL. What you can give the MySQL command inside here to do the following checks. Right, so we can give the adding command here. So the first command we're gonna give is we can select. Right, that's retrieving the data from the database. We can select. Let's say user. From MySQL.user. So we can see the available users, right? So you're gonna see at least you can see the MySQL the first three and see the root as available users, and you can modify this table to change the permission of this database of this system, like who can log in, who can edit the database, those things here. And select is a way just like the db.get, right? To getting the information from the database. We're using a select. Right, so let's say the officially starts the first one to show database, show all the databases. It's very similar to the MongoDB. We're gonna do show databases.
What was the password to get on?
Student.
No, the MySQL.
Student. Password is student. Right, username is root. Password is student.
I didn't mean that part. I meant the part with the space key, whatever.
you need the semicolon after that to stop it. So so it's going to select user from MySQL semicolon. Right, so semicolon is required in here. Right, so every command you give, you're gonna put a semicolon at the end. Right, show databases. Well, for all the keywords here, if you use lowercase, it will work as well. But usually we're using uppercases to separate that with other like table names or the column names. Right, we're using uppercases to just a habit that a developer use when they do the SQL development. So show databases. Let's enter. Right, all databases you have here should be showing. Right, so databases, first one, second one, third one, and all of them. And we're gonna create our first database, which is gonna for the web maker, right? So let's go ahead, create database. We're gonna create we're gonna call it web underscore maker, right? So in MySQL you won't see so many people are using the camel case or the dash case. They're using the underscore, right? Just some habits people use, right? Web maker. Oh, I forgot semicolon. So if you forgot semicolon, you will see the arrow at the next line. You think you are still typing, you're not finished yet. So just put semicolon at here. It still work. Right. So don't forget semicolon. Semicolon is required in the SQL. So it says query OK, and query OK basically means your command is OK, and the one row affected. And if you try the show databases, you'll see the MySQL, a web maker is created inside it. A web maker is created inside it. Right, any questions so far? Anyone getting any trouble? All right, so now let's see. We're gonna again change it to that database. So it's gonna be use web maker. Right, so semicolon to use that database. So this database change it. So it's very similar to the MongoDB. I think MongoDB just learned from the MySQL and just allows you to change it to modify different databases you want. So we're gonna use the web maker to modify that. Right, so right now if you try show tables, won't be any table. I think it's gonna be empty. Show tables. Yeah, it's just going to be empty sets. There's no any table inside it. And we're going to go ahead and create our first table. So to create table, right? Firstly, so if you don't know like any command, you can always search for that. For example, I don't know how to create table. You can search MySQL create table. There are always going to be answers for you online because everyone uses that. You can just choose any one of them. Should be have answer for you. So say create table, blah blah blah, and they all have a description for you. So you can either always easily find the commands for that. Right. So let's say first one is create table, and the table name going to be users, and put the parentheses. Right. Just put the open parenthesis. You can type everything in one line. I'm just going to separate it into multiple lines, make it easier to see. Right, create a user, create table users, and start with the first line, which is ID. ID is a number, right? So in MySQL, the number will use integer, so it's int stands for numbers, integer. And I'd like to give a feature of the ID. I want it to be auto increment. So that means I can put the auto increment. That's also a keyword for the column I can give. That means when I insert data, if I didn't provide the ID, please automatically create the ID for me. It's the auto increment gonna check in the last ID you used. Like if the latest ID you have is 2, and you insert new data, the ID for that will be 3, and next one gonna be 4 and 5. So that's what auto increment does. You're gonna see this very often when people create ID field, right? And put a comma here, separate it, and keep going to the next one. And we need the username, right? So we're gonna say user name, and the username is a string, right? In SQL, A string, we're using a keyword called varchar. That means just a variable characters, right? So how many characters you want? I want it to be less than 100 characters. That stands for string with a length maximum 100. So this is why we didn't teach the MySQL. When you go to the bootcamp, it won't teach the MySQL because that's a completely new language. You have to. We don't want to confuse the beginners with a SQL language and JavaScript language and other languages we learned. Right. So it's a completely new language. So many keywords to remember. All right. So that's the username. Keep going. Password. Varchar. And the password, we can make it longer, right? So sometimes we're gonna encrypt the password, so it will be so long. So we're gonna be the maximum here, which is 255, which is maximum. That's the maximum size of the password, or of a string. A string can, as long the biggest length can be 255. A password, and we also need the first name, right? First name, right? Again, it's a underscore case, right? Under case. So again, this first name can be varchar. Well, I don't think any human gonna have a longer first name than 100. So I can say 100 is gonna be enough. Or maybe you can use 50, but it's just the longer the bigger number you give, it takes more space to store it. So that's something you're gonna consider when you build the table. If you can, some people prefer to using the maximum number for all the fields. That other works, but it's not the best practice, right? So we're gonna give the enough space for that. That's gonna be good enough, right? So first name and last underscore name. Varchar 100, and the last field will be email, right? Again, varchar 100. If you did any typo, the command won't maybe not work. At the end, you just need to redo it, right? So and I need another parenthesis to close the whole users. Right, close this, and put a semicolon. Right, hit enter. Oops, say I get an arrow. There can only be one auto column, and it must be defined as a key. Oh, I forgot to see the ID is a key, the primary key for our table. So we're gonna have to redo everything. So I'm gonna use the upper key to looking for the first line, create table users. Second line, ID integer auto increment, and username, password, first name, last name, email. Okay. After email, I forget the comma. I can put it here. I keep going. I need to see the primary key is going to be ID. See, we need to define the schema, what we are storing in this table. And now close the parenthesis. I forgot the semicolon, and it at the next line. It's fine. And correct OK, right? Correct OK means the syntax is correct. All right, try it out. Let me know if your code doesn't, it shows some error for you and you're not sure what's wrong with it. I can help you with that. Right, so give you 5 minutes to try to make sure it works. Yes?
Is there a way to like upload like a file?
You can just copy and paste it. Yeah, well, yes, you can upload, but it will be more than once. We're going to get into that soon.
What did you add here?
1 second. I think it's Control C, right now. Yeah. Okay. What's in here? Got it? Got it. Okay. Right, so you can see it's just like using the Mongo terminal. It's kind of like annoying. You have to make sure everything is right, or otherwise you have to restart. Yes?
Did you just add the primary key in the end before the
Yes.
closes?
Yes. See that? Okay. So it's a create table user, and the first column, second column, third column, right? Each of them separated by a comma. And last column, comma, and then you see primary key ID and close the parentheses and ending semicolon. It's very straightforward. Yeah.
What will happen if you leave the character empty, like password?
Leave the character empty?
Yeah.
What do you mean by leave the character?
Instead of type, for example, the password, instead of typing 255, you leave it empty or you don't put it.
I actually forgot because it's different depends on database setting. We can check if we in the MySQL if we leave that empty, maybe they just give me the maximum of it. Let's say if in MySQL varchar empty, so what's gonna happen? It's just the issue. This is a lot of work, so. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I definitely can find the answer for that. So we're gonna need to check about it. Watch out without lens. I think it doesn't work. It has to be have a size, but we can try it out. So if I try to create a table test, and with let's say, so it's with a username, right? So the varchar empty doesn't provide length, and I say the primary key is username, should be username. I misspell it. And close it. Let's say it doesn't work. It has to be a length there. Right, the length is required here. Right, length is required. It's different. It depends on the database. But in MySQL, I think you have to give a length. Otherwise, it just won't not work. All right. So now I have my first table create. I can now try to show tables, and see that I have one table, users table inside it. Right, let's try to insert some data in there. So right now there's no data, right? It's just empty. So I can check the data inside the user. I can say select star from users. You can tell me it's empty. So select is again it's getting the data from it users table, but it's empty. So I'm not going to get anything. Just empty set. So I'm going to insert some data into it right now. So the command for insert is just insert into users table, and you need to specify the field, the order of data you give. For example, we're going to say that we're going to insert username, password. Let's say what else? First name, last name, and email. Right, those things I'm going to give. And then you see values. Right. Values, and you put your data inside here. For example, so for the username, it's going to be Alice. Password is Alice. First name is capitalized. Alice. Last name Wonder. And the email is alice@gmail.com. And semicolon it. Hit enter. Query OK, one row affected. Right, try it out. So we insert into user with the fields order like username, password, first name, last name, email, and the values, and just Alice. The order should be matched, right? So the first one is username, second one is password, so the one is first name, and the first one is Wonder, last one is email. And order matters here. You have an arrow in SQL syntax, check the menu in line 9. Oh, have a comma. Yeah, of course. Comma is used to separate the fields, but that's the last one, so we don't have the comma here. It's kind of annoying, right? We're going to get in using some tools like a Mongo Campus soon. But right now, we're just using the terminal, the original way we do with SQL. You enter it in the terminal. Yes? Error message? Sure. Will it tell you what the error is? Maybe because when you create this table doesn't have an email. So you create users, it has email. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna have to create drop this database to a new one. So when you create a schema, you give it a running name. Like a simple command is drop users. I'm not sure if that's right now. It should be a table on top. And then just Google it. So MySQL drop table. Drop table. So with that, like drop table views. Okay, we're okay. So now show create tables. Actually, not show messages. Should show tables. Yeah. It's empty. So now we can recreate the table by a direct email. There we go. And now you can have insert data. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, with respect to key, what was it? User?
Primary key. So it's going to be yeah, enter and have primary. Primary space key. Space key. And then put the parentheses here. Space and put ID. That means using ID and primary key for this table. And close the parentheses for users. Let's see, this is 6. Close it and ID. Yeah, and do semicolon. Enter. And it's okay. And question here? Yeah.
If you get an error while creating the table names, is there a way to go back and fix it under the drop downs?
You can edit it. Yeah. The command is going to be out something. Google it. But how to change the schema? There's going to be
Yeah.
or you can just drop it and create it.
No.
All right, 2 more minutes. We're gonna keep going. 2 more minutes. So I'm just gonna. Yes. You have an error in your SQL syntax, check the manual, and ID means you're missing a space between ID and int. We can tell you what error you have there, just following the error message. Right, 1 more minute. All right, so if you still didn't able to insert the data, don't worry. We're gonna insert data in an easier way later. Just let you know, like you can insert it within terminal, right? We're gonna insert it in an easier way later. So right now we can check in the information. Just follow me, right? So we can check in the information we just entered. So select star from users. Right, see, that's the data we just inserted, Alice. And see, I didn't put the ID, but since that's the first row we had, it can just automatically create the ID for me. If I insert another data, the ID will be 2 and 3, 4. Just keep going. All right, so that's what auto increment does.
That's a question.
Sure.
If you want to insert more data into that table, do you have to use the table names every time you insert?
Yes, otherwise, you don't know which table to insert data. Yeah, you need to always using the name of the tables, right, to tell it which table.
The headers.
The headers?
Like what do you, or the fields?
Oh, the fields, those things. So, well, you can insert it without it, but in this case, because we didn't give an ID, so we need to let the MySQL know the first field is username. The first field is not ID. So for example, if I want to insert ID, I can. The example will be insert into users, and just put the values, and I just put the value inside here. But you can expect the result is the first one is going to be the ID. Otherwise, it's going to if I put Alice here, it's going to think the Alice is the ID for the data. But like it will give an error because ID has to be integer. Alice is a string, so it won't allow you to insert it there. Right, so right, so it's never wrong if you just put the fields there, because it's gonna guarantee like you are not confusing yourself. Sometimes you're gonna forget what is the order for those fields. And with the field name, you can tell it like maybe the first one I want to insert is not the username. The first one I insert is password, and then I insert the username. The order can be changed. Just need to be matched the data you provide here. All right. So it's a better choice to include the field name. All right, so let me just delete it. I don't want to insert another one. All right, so let's keep going. Now we know how to select it. All right, so when you do select star, the star here, as you can expect, star means everything. You select all the fields for this user. You can just check the partial data. For example, I can do select. I only cares about the first name and the last name from users. I'm only going to show the first name and last name. Right, you can select as many fields as you want, or you can put select all of them. Sometimes you're going to have a table is very long. It has 100 fields. You don't want to show them all the time. So you just want specific on few ones. You can using the specific column name to show the columns that you want. It's very helpful. And also, let's try to insert more data. I just want to show an example for you. So if I want to insert a Bob, right? So you don't have to do it. Just let you know like something, right? So I don't want to waste too much time to just to type this meaningless steps. So Bob, last name I'm gonna give him just one. I forgot what his last name was. Bob@gmail.com. So insert another data, and I just let you know you can insert multiple data at once. So if you put another parenthesis outside, right? So what you can do is you can put multiple data. Like I want to insert another one, which is Charlie. I can do like that, and keep going like Charlie. So I'm just gonna insert one. Just don't waste too much time, right? So you're barely gonna directly give the MySQL commands in the terminal. We're gonna using some software to help us do that. Right, so right now it's just insert another data. I'm getting an error because I cannot have the double parentheses. I guess it's very strict. Right, so now it works. So if I select star from users, I have 2 columns data. two rows of data. Sorry, S and Bob, right? You can expect maybe the size of the table gonna keep growing, right? So you're gonna have more and more rows. Like in the future, you can have 1,000 rows, 10,000 rows. And what if I'm looking for a specific user? I'm looking for what is Bob's username, what is Bob's password. So you can do select star from users where the username is equals to Bob. You can do that. Right? Select all the information from users where the username equal to Bob. It's going to give you only the data has the Bob as a username. If there's more than one, it's going to give you just more than one. Right, you can also do select star where the ID is equal to 1. And it's going to give you the Alice. Alice has ID equal to 1. Right? So you can use a where clause it's called a where clause to give the limitation of what data you are looking for. And you can do things like select star from users where ID is bigger than 1. Right, so Bob has ID equal to 2, which is bigger than 1. That's very helpful. Also, you can do select a star from user where ID bigger than 1 and first name is equals to Bob. It's case sensitive, so you need to do that. Right, so that also works. Just give you an idea how to what you can do with it. If you have more, you can just try that with Alice. Right, so try that with Alice. So if ID equal to 1 and the first name equal to Alice. So if you say something doesn't exist, for example, you search for if ID bigger than 1 and the first name is equal to Alice. Right? We don't have any Alice with ID bigger than 1, so you will get an empty set. Don't have such data inside it. Matches with your query. Right? We call it a query, but basically just a command. All right, so now we talked about two different commands. First one is select, which is a retractive. Another one is insert, insert into, which is create, any information into it. So we take up the CR and we'll have UD, right? Create method. We'll have delete and update. So let's firstly talk about delete, because delete is easier to write. So we're going to do delete from all those informations all those commands you can search online, or I can share with you that I have a cheat sheet talk about like how to modify data. I'll share this with you, right? So delete from the table name users, and if you just stop here, it's gonna delete all the information in the users table. So I don't want that. I just want to delete the from users where ID equals to 2. Right, that's going to delete Bob for me. Right, Bob has ID equal to 2. Delete from users where ID equal to 2. Enter. Now if you try to select star from users, only Alice exists. Bob is deleted by us. Right, so delete. Delete from table where the field is equals to the value you want. Right, and the last one is update, is alternate. So alternate, right? Since we have schema in the table, there are maybe more things you want to edit. So you can firstly we can update the rows, right? Update the data itself. So we can say update users set email is equal to let's say wonder@gmail.com. Right? Again, if you just stop here, it's gonna change all the emails you have in the table into wonders. It's gonna change Alice's email into wonder, change Bob's email to wonder, change Charlie's email to wonder. All the users' email can change to the same value. You gotta be careful. So we're gonna say change the update the users from say the email where ID equals to 1. I only want to update Alice email equals to 100@gmail.com. Will close is to give a limitation here. Right? So OK, and select. See the email is changed to 100@gmail.com. All right, so let's ending Bob back. I want to test something. So let's ending Bob back. All right, so I have two data right now. So select start from users. I have Alice and Bob. Bob has ID 3 because if you delete the last one, the ID will keep growing. It won't replace the old one. Right, just in case there's some conflict with some data you had. Right, so it's gonna keep going. If you delete Bob and a new Bob, the ID will be 4 because ID it doesn't have to be connected to each other. So it's kind of like something that doesn't mean anything to the user itself. So let's say we can also add in a new column inside this table. We can do alter table users. I want to add an age for them. And age I want to using a varchar 3. Right? I don't think anyone gonna have a varchar 4 for their age. 1,000 years old. So I can do that. And now if I select start from users, I actually have age. So they are null. Right? It's too long, so it's getting to the next line. So I can make the window bigger. Right? So age is null. And I can use an update again to give them ages. Right? Update set age is equals to 20, where ID equals to just without the where. So it's going to change all their age equals to 20. Right? That's very obviously. We're just going to skip that part. So we can also modify the columns. Right? So maybe I don't want the age to be could be varchar. I want to make it as numbers. So I can do alter table users modify. Right? Last time I using add. I can also do modify. I want to modify the age into int. I can do that. Hit enter. Now the age is int. When you insert data, you have to give int instead of giving varchar. If you give varchar, it's give an error. I can do that. And we can try to insert something. So let's say if I try to do not insert, it should be what is that command for that? So I just forgot. Update users set this one. Set let's say set age equals to 5, where ID equals to 1. Set age equal to 15, where ID equals to 2. Alright, so if I select right now, so I want to select, so they have their age. Oops, this one seems starting to work. Oh, ID because his ID equals to 3, not equal to 2. If I give it 2, it's gonna see 0 change, 0 match, 0 change. Alright, so we're gonna try it again. ID equals to 3. Alright, try it again. So I have the two ages, age 5, age 15. And also, you can order it when you select. For example, I can select star from users and order by their age. And you can do it ascending or descending. Ascending will be like from smaller to the biggest one. Or can do descending from biggest one to the smallest one. Okay, ascending and descending. Order by sorted. Right, sorted based on the age, based on the email. If it's based on the email, it's going to be alphabetical. Right, A comes before the B, it comes before the C. Right, so it's alphabetical. If the number is just going to be from smallest one to biggest one. There's a lot of things you can do with SQL database. Another thing you can do is Right, so what we had was just first name, last name. We can combine them. So for example, select concat first name and with empty space and last name. And we're going to give a name. We call it just as name. And from users. There's no comma. Sorry, from users. Right, it's gonna. Oops. Let me spell it. So first, missing R. So it's going to be create a name combined by the first name, a space, and last name. And the column name is as name. I can do that. Or you can do select this one, a comma, and just all other stuff as well. I cannot put a star here. I think you need to put after the S. Sorry, after the S. Okay. Oops. You have an arrow. Your MySQL server version for the right syntax to use from user at. Okay, this is not work. I think I'm gonna using, for example, ID, age. Right, that works. I cannot use star with it. So you can just have name, have ID, have age, and you can keep any more fields you want. You can create your own fields. Although the data here we don't have a name, but we can still create it with a concat. A lot of different methods you can use. Not going to go too deep. Right, so that's enough for the MySQL with a terminal. We're going to using the software to do it, help us make our life easier, right? So it's going to be very annoying if you keep giving commands here. So we can just close it. You can go ahead and close it. And the tool we use, you can search here, is called MySQL Workbench. Workbench. This icon. MySQL Workbench. Open it. It's just a little bit too big, so it's going to take a couple minutes. Come up. Come on. Okay, so here we go. It's on my left screen. All right, so it's going to be welcome to MySQL Workbench. And here is your local instance, local connections, connecting to your local database. So it's using the port 3306. You can see that from here. And the username, the manager name is root. You can just double click it. And it's going to ask you for your password. Password is a student for you. And you can also save the password if you want. All right, password is student. Click OK. Let's bring you to a screen like this. It shouldn't have anything inside it. Might be just empty, right, like that. Yeah. And on the left here, you should be able to see all your databases you created. Or maybe your screen is like that, and you can choose from here. At first, it's choose administrations. On the left, you can just change schemas. Right, here's button schemas. So a little bit tiny, but hope you can see that. On your left screen is schema. I don't know how to make this bigger. I think you can in the setting, but I just couldn't find it. Yeah, I just couldn't find it. Should somewhere inside inside here. Fonts and color. Yeah, you can change it here. Console size, let's say make it 20. Results, just make it 15. You can change the size of it. 20. 20. Right, okay. And same like that work. Yeah, so yeah, you can change schema here. You can change when you click schema, you can see all databases you created. We are going to using the WebMaker, right? So WebMaker 1, and you can see all the tables you have inside it, right? So if you cannot see that, don't worry. When I upload the video, you will see that in the videos. Right? It's on the left. Yeah, all the columns are showing here. Right, all the definitions are showing here. Like his first name is virtual 100, last name virtual 100. Anyone get in trouble to get into here?
How did you get the
So when you log in, once you get into this page, there are two buttons on the middle of left. Let me just see if I can make it zoom in. On. I really want to show you, but it's just a little bit hard. Let's see here. This is top of the screen, and if you go down a little bit, there's a schema button. See that on the left of the screen? It's very tiny. I don't know how can I make it big, and I cannot get into left right now. I hate it. You see that? There's a schema button. Right. Come on. Right. So the schema button in here. Click on that. You can see all your databases you have in your system and all the tables in each database. Right, schema button inside here. All right, so that's a schema. All right, so we're gonna use a web maker. All right, so two ways you can do that. Like you can right click it and set as default schema, or you can just opening a. Let me just close this. It's kind of annoying. I just right click it, set as default schema. You can see it's gonna be board the database name, or you can just click on here. It has a create a new SQL tab. And you can give commands inside here. And give command here, okay, and use web maker. Right, it's gonna be lowercase. Use web maker. Right, and to run it, just click on this flash here. To run it, it's gonna change the database. Okay, just right click, set as default schema. Right, set as both works. Right, using either way to set it as your default schema. Right, set that default schema. Again, so the command you use to give inside terminal, they're all gonna work here. For example, select star from users. Right. And click on this flash here. It's gonna write, and the output is here. Right, I'll write right below it. And it makes life easier, so you can change it. Right, where ID equals to 3, you can do that as well. Right, so it's going to be only Bob's. So it's going to be much easier if you do things here, right? As well, you can also just directly insert data inside here. Like you can do double click it. I can give a username, Charlie. I see that's very helpful. Charlie. First name, Charlie. Double click or double click to edit, and last name just also give you one. Email, charlie@gmail.com. I give you age. 20, right? And hit apply here, the apply button.
How did you get that
You need to first select it. Right, so again, let's try it again. Revert it.
Oh.
So select, right? So hit on this flash button. Click it. It's gonna select all the things you have in table, and then you can modify the table here. I can modify it here. Like a Charlie, actually you can just single click. That needs to be double click. Sorry, I thought you need to double click it. Charlie, and first name Charlie, last name Wang, email charlie@gmail.com, age 20. Right, hit on apply. It's gonna ask you to review the SQL script you want to apply. If that's what you want to do. Insert into this table with username, password, first name, last name as given, and yes, apply it. It's going to do it for you and finish. And now if you select it again, you can see the Charlie is also inserted.
Can you insert a column the same way?
Yes, I think you can also insert column in the same way, but not inside here. It should be, this is insert new, edit row, delete row. I think you need to go back to here, go to the columns. Let me see, users, alter table, right? Go to tables here, users, right click, alter table. It's gonna ask you, right? So what else you want to create? I want to create a new column. Maybe we're gonna call it I don't know what else you want to do. It's gender, right? And this one going to be a varchar 10. So PK, you can just is that primary key? No. Is that non-null? That means null is not allowed. You can choose that. Is that unique? Is that kind of a binary column, like either 0 or 1? No, just none of them. We need to choose. I just put the gender, varchar, and the default. What is default? What is default? The gender. I just put a null and apply it. Alright, so they're gonna show you like this is a command for it. Are you sure? You want to add in a new column and use null as a default key, default value. Apply. And now that's just finished. And you can go back to the last tab you had to select it. You can see the gender is ended. Right? So you're gonna save some time to give the command in the terminal. So you just using the GUI, the GUI to modify it. You can also like drop the table or do all the kinds of things you want. You can either just select the rows, limit to 1,000, which is gonna also select it for you. And there's a lot of options for you here. Right, let's use this way to create another table. Right, tables here, right click, create a table. So we're gonna create a table called websites. Right, we have user, now we need websites. Websites. And column name, firstly is ID, which is int. It's going to be a primary key, and it's now null. And I want it to be auto increment. This one AI auto incremental. So click on that one. It's a little bit tiny. Sorry, I cannot make it bigger. Just that's the largest one I can give. But you can check out the video soon. Right. So it's ID and the name. Right, name. Varchar 100. I'll make it bigger. Varchar 100. And keep going. Description. Varchar. This time we're gonna have a. You can choose from here or just enter by yourself. I'm going to varchar 255 or varchar max you can do, I think. To 255. And I need a developer underscore ID, developer ID, which is going to be an int. It's going to be non-null and doesn't have to be unique, just non-null. Right. And the default name and description, if I didn't provide the name and description, I'm just gonna make it null. And the developer ID, I'm not gonna give a default expression. It has to be when you create data, it has to be a developer ID there. And here you can set up the foreign keys. Right? There's an option called the foreign keys. Let me make it zoom in a little bit. I really want to zoom in. Yeah, for you to see that. I see here it has on the bottom left it says a foreign key here. Click on that. Right, the default one was column. You can set up column. You can also set up foreign key here. So for the foreign key, we're going to do the foreign key name. It's developer ID, and refers to the table, the users table, or refers to this ID. Check on that. Right. I think that's how you set up it and apply it. It's kind of a little. This is a command for it. Right. Apply it. Right. Finish. Now you can check out your website's columns. So it has a ID, name, description, developer ID. Developer ID is a foreign key. And we can also select it. Select star from user, select star from websites. and it's empty here, right? There's no any data. Right, so we're gonna take a 10 minutes break. So if you are still trying to create that, try it there, and let me know if you have any question. I help you with that. All right, I can take a 10 minutes break, 10:30. Right, that's some website data we just created. The foreign key, developer ID, and the reference to the user table, and reference to the ID of it.
Can you change the table you made in the,
Mine's is the food, right? And,
I wanna change the table.
Change the table.
Yeah, in
it's the conditioner.
Okay, yeah, you can drop it. So let's
So
say
I put them on the wall, and you know how they are, like they need help too, and I'm the last one, so nobody else is gonna help her but me. So she was like, you gotta help me, guys. So I'm like, up at 3 in the morning, I'm like, I am almost done. I gotta wake up in the morning. She's like, you wake up. I woke up, and I was like, yeah, no, ain't no way I'm going so I can falling asleep.
No.
Like I was literally, I caught myself when I sat down. I was like, working on the our project.
Yeah,
I was
whatever you can do in terminal, you can do it here.
look
It's
how
gonna be
she
easier.
said,
Yeah.
get the clean.
Yeah, just play around with it, create anything you like.
Try to hide.
Hey, Sheila, I got a question.
I'm awake now, but like my body's like,
No, it's not about bedtime. It's
I was
about,
like, lay down.
do I have to go to the
I
punch
fell
or could I
asleep on
just
the
stay up there?
train, but I wanted to
Go
go
to the.
so
I think you need
but
to. Yeah, because
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
we
back.
have to go.
I'm
We have to. Yeah.
We will look at the paper.
Smile.
I didn't look at the part you uploaded, but I was like doing my part, so I was just like, let me just do something and then I'll look at hers later.
I'm not sure, but like SQL is not just for developer. Like
Wait, you said something
even
for the
you're
project
working
or
as
something
like
else?
doing any other role, like looking at the accounts, looking at the like a financial company, they all you always need to know a little bit of SQL is always helpful. Such as like yeah, because most of companies are data driven,
Where'd you
so
send it?
they all use SQL to store the data. So if you want to change something in the database, you have to know the basic command of the SQL to be able to snap the
Let
information
me see
from
if I
it.
got it.
Yeah.
Because that one actually has like the components, like the file folders.
Here.
Yes.
So here, I don't know what I did, and now when I do NPM start, it first was telling me that there was no, like it couldn't find the server data yet, and now it's giving me the server data. So
That's what is this folder? It's a WebMaker folder, and when you do npm start, it gives you no package.js JSON, but we have package. Oh, I see. You are doing that in the WebMaker folder, but in the WebMaker folder you have another WebMaker folder. So that's in,
yeah,
that's in the
that's
inner
what
folder.
I.
So you need to cd into the inner folder,
The other 45 is
and then
Okay.
so you're gonna make sure you are targeting on
Oh,
inside this
okay,
folder,
I
then do the
see.
npm start because all the files are inside it, not inside up here.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you do npm start, it will work.
Thanks. What problems are you having?
Work. So that's
Is it like hard to like change programs or anything?
no, it's not that.
Is the scripting developer now? The developer ID.
And it's not that. Name, description, and field ID.
What's the fault, the one for all the developers? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not understandable. So how do we do that?
people in the food trucks, they don't realize that their customer base, so Amazon has this truck that you see them, they pop up in different places, and then they only have like 20 of this item, and then somehow they reach out to people, and then the people know that their location, and then they buy it, and then they go pick it up. So that's what it is. So some kind of technology like that.
To pre-order, you're talking about?
To pre-order and to let your favorite customers know that you're in the area.
Well,
Yeah.
with food trucks, you always are in a specific location.
You don't have to be.
Well, that's what the license is for.
No, I've seen them move around.
Some, they have different zones where they can sell art. So certain food trucks, like if they got a license, then they may be able to go outside of it, different areas.
I've seen them at concerts, one in Cambridge, Steuben County.
Well, that's my understanding. I haven't looked it up for like 2 years.
Did you find it?
Chicken and rice one? And
No,
other
I
ones
only
is
see some
down
from earlier this
Coffee.
week. You said, where was it again?
And then by South Station right there.
Well, that's not art, that's an area.
And then concerts.
Just a document with all the notes. And all of
Oh,
that.
okay, so it's just the notes, right? I thought you said you sent me like a link to an event or something. That's what I thought you said.
Just the notes. The one that I sent yesterday was the most recent one. You can delete the other one.
Delete this one.
That's why certain ones are always in the same location.
Keep this one.
Yes.
They can't just drive around selling food everywhere.
I think it's easier to do two.
Because I
Yeah, it does suck.
chatted with she quickly and she just made sure that we have like pages
Down the street
to
from the
cover what
hospital,
we're
somebody
trying to do,
they
like the basics of what
stay
we're trying to do. And that I didn't try to overly complicate things. Because I was sitting down thinking about it. Just like, that's a lot of
We could start that.
They sell food
back and
too.
forth.
Joe, you know what? We could start that because
A lot of functions.
the guy that
Really?
no, the first black guy had the dispensary out there.
Yeah.
He's opening up.
But I really like this idea, yeah. This is nice of that. And you can like build on it. It's just like a nice starting
Yeah?
point.
Sure.
But I know.
1 second.